Welcome back to Greystoke Forest, where we're waiting for the cars to come through for the final stage of the Malcolm Wilson Rally. This is the Protyre BTRDA Rally Series. It feels like a longer time since we were last here this morning than it does when we were here last year, which seemed about 5 minutes ago. It's been a long gap in between. Meanwhile, the crews have been to Grisdale for 2 stages, and we've lost an awful lot of crews. It's a long time since, I don't even think it happened on the RAC until the last day, where I've had to actually scroll down the retirements list. We have lost a lot of crews. That means there's a lot of changes throughout the leaderboards. Gary Pearson, most notably, I suppose, having been leading the rally by 3 seconds from Elliot Payne, our 2-time Gold Star champion, has dropped a lot of time. He's behind Matthew Hurst and Declan Deere now on the leaderboard, and we saw them limp through the stage earlier, and some of the marshals collected a bit of kit that really should have been connected to that R5 Fiesta. It's got an M Sport label on, and there's a fair bit of M Sport tax there. It's nice and weighty, but that should have been connected to Matthew Hurst's R5 Fiesta. But first up, in reverse seeded order, it is the 1400s and the 2-wheel drives. And there you have Greg McCutcheon in the Peugeot 205 GTI doing his second ever rally to kick us off. The top 3 Bronze Star after Grisdale 2, Callum Black, Nigel Jenkins. And I think, although I'm going to double check it, because the results aren't refreshing on my phone right now. I don't know about yours at home. BTRDA rallyresults.co.uk is where you can get them. But I think the top 3 Silver Star, I'm going to go to the results actually to double check that one for you. But Grisdale has certainly bitten, if I tell you that. At the moment, Perry Gardner, Jack Bowen are out. Neil Roskell, Di Roberts are out. They suspect that they broke a drive shaft on the start line. Kurt Hodgson, Sam Campbell, just showing us how cut up this hairpin here is. A little under 3 miles through the Greystoke stage. Yeah, Neil Roskell, Di Roberts broke a prop shaft, they think. I did jokingly mention to Neil that I wondered what damage had been done when they towed the service vehicles out on the Grisdale Rally last year. Let's hope that's not a throwback to the wear and tear from that Rally 2 Fiesta. From them, Andrew Purcell, Mark McKeon out in the Polo. Daniel Moss, Chris Colley, Tom McEwen, Colin Minton, Bonnie Papa, they're out. There's Giles Armitage. One of the 2 Armitage Peugeots out in this Protyre BTRDA Rally season opener. Josh Rhodes alongside in that Peugeot 205 GTI, the first of our Rally First 2-litre cars to come through as well. 13th overall in Bronze Star last season, looking to build on that this year. But just scrolling down this retirements list, Lewis Hooper resetters, we saw them have problems come through. It turned out to be an electrical issue with the throttle, we believe, which forced that Fiesta R2 out. As you see, Ross Jarrett, David Robson threw in their Mark II, coming down here from the borders to join us in Cumbria for the Malcolm Wilson Rally. Yeah, there was a couple of weird comments on the live coverage about my suggestion that it was a drive shaft on the Fiesta. Apparently Fiestas don't have drive shafts, they have, what was it, CV axles. No, they have drive shafts, and hopefully the drive shaft I just showed you just clears that one up. Christopher Bush, Dale Glover, we talked about his reliability in that Alpha, didn't we, earlier? And in fact, the second of the Armitage cars, the 306 of Will Armitage and Jeremy Pole, the S16, is also out, retiring on the last stage in the second one through Grisdale. So attrition really biting at this opening round. Let me just refresh the results for you now. Saw a video on Callum Black's Instagram of the exhaust on the Suzuki Swift 1400 kit car. Wow, it was red hot, like molten metal. I'd be worried about it setting fire to the bodywork. Obviously don't want to be knocking that bumper, do you, onto the exhaust? But impressive stuff. Very interesting top three in the Gold Star as things stand. Elliot Payne, Vivian Hamill, Scott Beattie. As you see, the Mini Cooper of Dave Head and Steve Head making their way through this final stage. 7 stages making up the action today on the Malcolm Wilson Rally. 43 or so stage miles. And in case you didn't tune in earlier, you may not know that there were 2 stages to kick things off last night in Coombe and Hopcarton. Stuart Bannatyne, Fiona Moore in the Fabia 1400. They've been going well today. Don't forget, you, just by getting involved in today's coverage, by commenting on one of the live streams, you've got yourself in the draw to win one of our special Money Can't Buy Rallying is Life special stage t-shirts, styled in the old Lombard RAC Rally logo. This is the t-shirt that one of you, it's like the t-shirt that one of you will win. I can't really hold that, I'm juggling lots of things, but there you go. You can't buy one of these, you can only win them by getting involved in our live coverage. We basically want to get as many of you involved in our coverage this year as possible, so somebody will be picked at random to win that after today's live broadcast from this opening round of the Protyre BTRDA Rally Championship. So top 3 in the Bronze Star as things stand. Confirmed: Callum Black, Nigel Jenkins, Dylan Fowler-Bishop. As you see, Gary Whitney, Carl Keating through the stage. We're just one junction down basically from where we were earlier, so we've got quite a fast section over a bit of a yump into this hairpin right. It's a tight hairpin, but it does open out a little, so we should see plenty of sideways, particularly as we get towards the quicker 2-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive cars. You may remember we were a little along from here on last year's Malcolm Wilson Rally, and we got some good action, including that Rally 1 Puma, which unfortunately we're not seeing today. Next up for us here on Special Stage, we'll be live with you for a back-to-back weekend of live coverage next weekend at Rally North Wales on the Saturday, Donington Park for the Circuit Championship on the Sunday after that. It is the opening round of the Protyre Asphalt Rally Championship. We're in the northwest of England for the Legend Fires Northwest stages. There's Kevin Downs and Paul Vassy. And there is a competition to win 2 VIP tickets to the Northwest Stages. If you head to the Northwest Stages Facebook page, it's shared on there. It's to promote a new type of car polish called Gloss Fuel. Interesting concept. So if you do fancy winning yourself a couple of VIP tickets to the Legend Fires Northwest Stages, head to the events Facebook page and check out the competition running on there. I think you also get a pretty cool looking car cleaning kit as well. If you're into cleaning your cars or you drive a rally car, it could be quite useful to you. If you're just tuning in, welcome to the Malcolm Wilson Rally. This is our live coverage of the opening round of the Protyre BTRDA Rally Championship. There's Rins Zwagstra, Martin Nortier, from over in Holland. Mentioned earlier, they started rallying here in the UK last year. They rally Volvo 740s, 940s, and a whole host of other fairly exotic Scandinavian cars in places like Denmark and Sweden, so we'd quite like them to. Nothing against an MG ZR, cracking rally cars. But we'd quite like them to bring some of those Volvos over here. Producer Wayne is nodding emphatically, well, as emphatically as he can, given how cold we are. It's the temperature has really dropped here. I'm not sure what it is actually, but this morning was a lot milder than it is now, but we've lost the wind. And the rain that was threatening earlier seems to have been held at bay for now at least. I mean, the conditions are pretty decent out there. John Bailey, Chris Wareham. But the conditions being decent hasn't stopped this being a real rally of attrition so far, has it? So the rally first, 2 litre class. Giles Armitage, we've seen him in that Peugeot 205. Leads 20 seconds ahead of Rins Zwagstra in the MG ZR, the Dutch crew that we just saw. Alfie Hammond behind them. And in the 1400s, it's 2 1400S cars in front. Callum Black, Nigel Jenkins, Jack Morton, and Kaz Jenkins alongside them. Dylan Fowler Bishop in 3rd place. Dan Evans alongside. Matthew Evans, Daniel Evans. Could do with an exhaust. Couldn't they at the end of this rally? Sounding more like a tractor than a Sambo right now. In the R2 class, earlier on, of course, it was a frustrating morning, wasn't it, for the Hooper Sport team. They were leading the way quite comfortably, weren't they, in that class, having taken that lead from M Sport boss Rich Milner. But unfortunately for Lewis Hooper and Rhys Edwards, retirement with that electrical issue on the Fiesta R2 means that they have handed that lead back to Milner, who has a 24-second gap to the second of the Hooper Sport cars, Martin Meadows. Lewis Hooper is, frustratingly for him, watching from the service area. And that is a very frustrating way to start the season. Incredible performances in that Rally First Micra, performances that we'll be talking about for a fair old while to come, I'm sure, and performances that took him to 2nd overall in the Bronze Star last season. But he's going no further today. Steve Corky, Ward, Phil Sandham throwing that Escort RS 1800 around the hairpin here in Greystoke, just under halfway through this 7.5 mile finale to the opening round. To remind you, if you've just tuned in, we are running in reverse seeded order for the 1400s, the Fuchs Lubricants Bronze Star category, and the 2-wheel drive cars. And then we have a very short gap, and we're straight back in with action from the 4-wheel drive field in correct seeded order. And the order there has very much changed around from what it was when we last left you. Elliot Payne, Patrick Walsh now leading 48 seconds from Vivian Hamill. Lorcan Moore haven't been rallying over here in England for that long. Did some work with Matt Edwards to transition them into the R5. They're in second place at the moment, Rory Young and Jamie Edwards showing as third, although I did think it was Scott Beattie. BTRDA rallyresults.co.uk is where you can get your live results. Will Banks, Matthew Baddeley coming through nice, neat and tidy, although another Nova sounding like it needs an exhaust. Matthew messaged me in between the stages to say he was having a word with Will because he wasn't happy with Will messing it up in front of our cameras on the first live stream through this Greystoke stage. And there's Ben Stockdale and Alec Lunn. Sorry, yes, so Elliot Payne, Patrick Walsh, lead from Vivian Hamill, and then, yeah, we have got Freddie Milne and Rory Young behind, but they're not registered for championship points, so then it becomes Scott Beattie, Pereira Davies, third place in the Protyre BTRDA Championship Cruise. Of course, you'll need no reminder, this is the Protyre BTRDA Rally Series coverage, so although we are covering all of the competitors on the entry list, we are telling the story very much of the BTRDA cruise, which is why we'll miss a few out when we talk about final results later on. Andy Davison, Steve Ward, Daniel Sigurdsson, top three in the Silver Star. And isn't that a glorious sight? Once again, William Midgley, Chris Slater in the AE86 Corolla, absolutely throwing that 80s Toyota around. Become very sought after in the last 10 to 15 years, really. They became big in the road rally scene, the AE86 Corollas. Bizarrely, they were known as Toyota's remake of the Ford Escort. The twin cam engines that they have are very similar in many ways to a BDA. So they did become very popular with rally drivers, particularly in Ireland and, as I say, in road rallying. And then, as these things tend to do, the values shot up. You're now talking getting on for 30 grand for a reasonable Toyota AE86 Corolla GT now, which is mad. Absolutely mad. I drove Alex Allingham's a couple of years ago, and they are absolutely cracking cars. That's a lot of money. There's Brandon James and Mark Smith down on the entry list as being in an R2 or in the R2 class. I can confirm they in fact are not. Martin Meadows, Tommy Meadows alongside, just bogging down at managing to keep the 208 R2 running. It's very easy to stall in that kind of situation. You can probably see from the surface that it is fairly cut up down here. The surface is standing up well, but it's very loose and quite soft for the top, I don't know, inch and a half, I suppose, of the surface. So it is being pulled away, particularly after that first run through this Greystoke stage. The first of our B13 crews inside the top 10, still Russ Thompson and Stephen Link. They've dropped back to 8th now. They were 7th after that 4th stage that we covered earlier. Sorry, just correcting myself from earlier. It's Agner Ingi Sigurdsson, not Daniel Sigurdsson, who is in 3rd place in the Silver Star at the moment. I was thinking Daniel's in an R5, he can't be in the Silver Star. That's the Fiesta R2, car 49. This is the final stage of this opening round. We've had plenty of action to kick things off, haven't we? And we're going to have a fairly interesting leaderboard as well. It's not one that we would have probably placed any bets on coming into this round, such as the way this championship can often throw up surprises. Chris Greenall, James Greenall, making the trip, relatively short trip compared to some from York, in their Nova. 4th place in the Fuchs Lubricants Bronze Star in last year's championship. Hoping, no doubt, for a podium this season. At the moment, though, not scraping into that Bronze Star top 3. Callum Black in the Suzuki Swift 1400 kit car on a one-off outing in that car. Hopefully not a one-off as far as his championship outings go. Leading the way from reigning champions Nigel and Kaz Jenkins, with Dylan Fowler-Bishop behind. Nathan Weird and Harry Walshaw there in the Fiesta ST, again not registered for championship points. First of the times coming through from this final stage, not enough to give you a full picture of things just yet. I don't think the time control, whether taking the times, is right at the end of the stage, so we're having to wait a little while for those to come through, but we'll be able to update you really soon. Johnny Sproke, Peter Johnson, setting that Fiesta ST150 up nicely for the hairpin here. Just getting the back end swinging around like a pendulum and just chucking it in. Obviously a slower corner than we had earlier, and we had plenty of sideways action on that, didn't we? Ian Joel, Graham Wood didn't disappoint in the Escort Cosworth, coming flat chat over the crest, well past the braking zone before having to lock it up and somehow gather it together without taking a load of bank and scenery with them. Impressive composure to keep things going, if nothing else, even if that wasn't exactly the way that they intended on making the corner. Big shout out to all the marshals here on the Malcolm Wilson Rally. The ones we've met have been fantastic, lots of fun, really enjoying their rallying. It's a great way of getting into the sport. If you do fancy marshalling, there's loads of information and online training on the Motorsport UK website. There's Ashley Francis Adams, Mark Ammons. Started the day really high. Were they 2nd place, I think, weren't they, to start the day in the Bronze Star category? Not sure what happened after that, but they came through past us with hazard warning lights. It's good to see them still running. Currently 60th on the overall leaderboard, but crucially 4th in 1400S, which I think puts them 4th as well, doesn't it, in the... No, it puts them 5th, actually, in the Bronze Star in terms of registered crews, I think. A bit of quick maths by the side of the stage. That's what I've got Neil Cross at home for. There's M Sport World Rally Team boss Rich Milner. Gail White alongside this year in the Fiesta R2. Bit of a busman's holiday, but the very best kind. And having done a rally driving day recently as a busman's holiday ourselves, as a special stage crew, I can confirm it's a very good way of doing it. Juggling a few things here There's Gordon Murray, Peter Carstairs alongside, making the trip down from Scotland. Heading towards the front-running crews in our Bronze Star category at the moment. Danny Shelev on the entry list next, but one of our retirements, I believe, today, very unfortunately. I'm still, mechanical problems in that Toyota GT86 with Robbie Sandford alongside. On the stage before this in Grisdale, I'm still blown away by the number of retirements. Sam Mason, James Seymour, new entries in our R2 Rally Cup here in the Protyre BTRDA Rally Series, also retiring. That was in stage 2, problem with the front suspension. Richard Christensen, Callum Fraser putting that 2.8 litre straight 6 to good use inside that BMW Compact. Ian Parks asked if we have the campfire on. No campfire here. It's become quite murky as well. Late in the afternoon, I suppose, but it does feel like it's weather's closing in a little bit, but not enough to affect things here on the stages. The rain has very definitely left us. Gordon, Montana, Morrison, Ian Parker alongside. Chris Moore's watching at the half-time at the Kidderminster Harriers game. This is a lot more entertaining. Of course it is. Andy Cook asking if Black is registered for Bronze Star points. Yes is the answer to being registered, but actually, I'm not sure if registered. Neil Cross will hopefully confirm whether Callum is registered for overall Gold Star points, given that the next time we're likely to see him will be in his Rally 2 Fiesta on a BTRDA round, or whether it will be Bronze Star. So if you're listening, Neil, our chairman here in the Protyre BTRDA Rally Series, if you could confirm that for Andy Cook, that would be good. He only registered yesterday, so that's new. Jason Gordon's watching on his settee in Northumberland. Was in Windermere last weekend, staying at Fullbarrow, not far. Ian Ross watching from rallyschool.co.uk. Rally Rides, Rally School, where we did our rally day. We've still got some content to come from that, including a very cute kids feature where the kids actually present their own special stage rally show. But do check the feature that we did at the Rally School out. It's on the specialstage.tv website, which is the new place online for all your rally TV. All of our live coverage, all of our features, our special Rally Stories series, which has already featured a special happy birthday feature for the Group B Metro 6R4, and is about to feature some very special personalities. I won't just say drivers, because they're not just drivers, from the rally world. Mike Broad kicks us off, and anybody who knows Mike Broad, the president, of course, of the BTRDA, knows that he is probably the best storyteller we have in rallying, and his experiences combined with the way he tells his stories make that a really riveting watch. So do tune in for that. Motorsport, special stage.tv. Did I say Motorsport TV the first time? Is that why you looked at me funny? Yeah, Neil Cross confirming that Callum is registered as a driver, so he can score points across all the stars. So yeah, he can score Bronze Star today. Keeps his options open, doesn't it? And at the moment, he's on for maximum score in the Bronze Star. Interesting, well, not interesting. We saw a bit of an incident for Stuart Eggleston, our 1996 Gold Star champion, who his Mark II Escort, one of the Grisdale stages, rolled the car. They did continue, so we are expecting to see from him shortly. Looks fairly dramatic. Plenty of damage to the car. Doesn't need a roll to make that car sound very unhealthy, does it? Ian Holt, Phil Boyle. Got a bit of a misfire going on in that Mark II. Hello to Gurig Jones. Good spots for action today. Top marks from him, which is good. Dan Roper's enjoying the action. Mark II Escort, one of the best rally cars, he says. Well, yeah, history would tell us that, and we would agree. Robert Eltringham is gutted that he missed it this weekend. Well, you didn't miss it. You tuned into live coverage. Phil Jones enjoying the coverage, looking forward to the Northwest stages, which flies past his front door. Quite literally flies past his front door as well. That's going to be a good rally, isn't it? The opening round of the Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship. We will be there, and we're very excited about that coverage as well, like we are with this, live on every round of the Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship. I know Paul Morris, a hard-working championship coordinator, is busy getting things prepared and making last arrangements. He's joined us for some of the coverage today. Normally, of course, out with Robert Goff in the red Mark II. But having a weekend off rallying this weekend, no doubt doing horsey stuff with Donna, as well as doing what is really a full-time job, running a rally championship. Stephen Brown's missing the Malcolm Wilson for the first time in a few years. On to different rally adventures this year, which sounds interesting. Sounds like you need to give us an update on what you mean by that, Stephen. Agner Ingi Sigurdsson there. Valgador Davidson alongside third place at the moment in the Silver Star on today's Protyre BTRDA Rally Series season opener. Plenty of you were up this neck of the woods last weekend, but you've missed the Malcolm Wilson rally. Our cameraman Jamie Ganley did the opposite. He's come up for a holiday this weekend, and it just happens to be a rally on, so he's joined us out here on the stages with his girlfriend Sarah. Why not? It's my kind of romance, guys. Desna Hat watching from the Isle of Wight. There's Mike Reed, John Millington. Neat and tidy, as you would expect with the expertise inside that Reed Group Mark II Escort. Mentioned it earlier, John Millington is the star guest at a special rally-inspired event taking place at the Motorist in Sherburn in Elmet near Leeds, between Leeds and York. If you haven't been, it's a fantastic venue, but we're doing a rally event there on the 27th of April. There's going to be lots of content, some fabulous cars on display, and it's going to be a rally show during the day with lots of content. Then on the evening, there's a meal and a Q&A with myself and John Millington. Really looking forward to that. Details are on the Motorists Facebook page if you fancy getting involved. Listen to that. I'm actually delighted that Steve Ward stopped on the hairpin there just to give us a flavour of that Group A Legacy RS. Sound of a boxer engine in a historic Subaru is soon to be a sound that we're going to get very used to, I think, in historics. That camel liveried car. Shades of Per Eklund on the 92 RAC is a sight to behold. Craig Rutherford, Ian Fraser. I mean, it's not the only Escort running big wheels today, but those 15-inch wheels on that particular Escort just seem to look huge. Seems to be dancing around as well, and slippery. Great picture from Jamie Vaughan. It looks like he's watching the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and he's got special stage on live in the grandstand there. That's a great photo, Jamie. Grand Prix is due to start, isn't it, in 3/4 of an hour. Nathan Shaw, afternoon, Paul. Great coverage as normal. Not doing well on Woodford Bingo today. No, I've thrown a few different ones in, haven't I? Rallying's finest riff-raff on display on the stages today, and here come. That was good timing, wasn't it? Come out the window, go driver on the horn, almost putting Nigel off. Our reigning Bronze Star champions on the rev limiter and throwing that NJ Auto Repairs Nova into the hairpin here for their final run through Greystoke on their way to what looks like, if Callum hangs on, a second place to start the season. Hello to Craig Smith, one of our, I think we still call Craig an extended member of the team, can't we, even though he's not been out of the camera recently. It's a poor show, Craig, but thanks for joining us today, mate. Stephen Brown's doing the Stellantis Cup and the BRC Juniors, okay, with Robert Proudlock. Right. Paul Hassan's joining us, Mark Constantine, David Peake. Some large gaps in the cars. How far into the stage are you? We're about halfway. You're just below. So here is Callum Black, Jack Morton, our reigning Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally champions in that Suzuki Swift 1400 that Callum took the Bronze Star with. Five years ago. Can you believe it was 5 years ago? 2019 that Callum won the Bronze Star. Most likely to be back here on the stages of the BTRDA in a Rally 2 Fiesta in the Palace Connections car that we're used to seeing him in, which he'll be contesting a number of rallies in, a number of championships in this season. But a last-minute swap is due to be his dad, Steve Black. Callum has certainly made use of that seat time today, hasn't he? Putting himself in the lead of the Bronze Star ahead of our reigning champions. And we know that's not an easy feat. We were hoping to have Pete Gorse. I was talking to Neil Cross about this, as you see Jack Mathewson and Miles Cartwright sliding that Mark II. At Mathewson's Bangers and Cash liveried Mark II around the hairpin here in Greystoke. I was talking to Neil Cross about this last night. We were hoping that Pete Gorse was going to throw his hat back in the ring in the 1400s. Tony Riles looking forward to the event of the Motorist. It's going to be good. Trust me, it's going to be good. You need to get there if you can. April the 27th. Glenn Baker is watching from Bridgewater in Somerset. Damien Cole. No, it's not Damien Cole. It's Dominic Cole. They're going to be out watching next weekend. Is that going to be Rally North Wales or Donington Park? Simon Jones, good to have you with us, mate. Yeah, David Peake, we are, as I say, just under 3 miles into this 7.5 mile stage. I don't know what the gaps are. A few of them are a little bit bigger, aren't they? But we have lost a number of crews as well. We've had a few retirements, so that combined with a few gaps on the road manifesting itself as a few gaps here on the stage, but nothing to worry about at this stage. We do expect to have the four-wheel drive field straight through. As you see Alfie Hammond and Peter Williams in that Rally First 2-litre car. They took a top 20 in the Silver Star last season in 19th. Ian Park, who's planning a visit up to Kilmarnock on the 1st of September for Crowfootland? No idea. I'm not, I'm afraid. Craig Smith says he feels like an emotional support Scotsman these days. Yeah. That DS3 R2 doesn't half sound good, doesn't it? James Hall, Helen Hall. Don't see many R2s, if indeed that is an R2. It's R2 on the entry list, but yeah, I'm thinking it must be R3. Barry Ullman's enjoying Callum Black in that Suzuki Swift. It's a Super 1400, actually. Glenn Baker enjoying the coverage today as well. All of you guys who've got involved and commented on the live coverage, you've got yourself in the draw to win that Money Can't Buy. I sound like some kind of naff 80s game show host saying that, don't I? Money Can't Buy. Rallying his live special stage t-shirt. Someone will be winning that after today's live coverage. We're giving one away for every rally that we present live. Mark Shaw and James Coxon have had some fans on the live coverage today from the comments I've seen, and they have been loving life in that Sunbeam TI. Throwing it around. Throwing it around and getting it at all kinds of rude angles. I've loved watching that Sunbeam in action today. You know I've got a bit of a thing for Sunbeams as well. The rally series that Sarah Crabtree and I did with the Great British Car Journey last time out was good fun, and getting to drive those two Works spec Sunbeams was pretty special, even if we didn't drive them that far. Talking of Works spec cars and very sideways historic cars, here's Ben Jemison. Nicely done, Ben. Nicely done indeed. Dave Jackson alongside in that Chevette HSR with its wide boxy arches and its 2.6 litre engine, H3, H4 class. Ben throwing himself into the BTRDA for a full season this year, which he was very excited about. And when he told me, so was I. We've got a car with a problem here. Marshall's springing into action and doing a great job. Ready to help if they can. That is actually Dylan Fowler Bishop, who came into this final stage in a podium position in the Bronze Star category. Dan Evans is out of the car, trying to get it to a safe location. Brian Jardine, Declan Campbell weren't expecting a micro to be on the stage as they came around that corner, but the Marshals give them plenty of warning. They're desperately trying to get that micro going. Whether they're trying to get it to the box junction near us or whether they think they can get it to the end of the stage, I'm not sure. But that does mix things up on the leaderboard once again today. Attrition becoming a very big part of the story. Paddy Monroe, Andrew Stevenson, making a bit of a mess but styling it out on the hairpin as Dan Evans clambers to get back inside that micro. They are desperate to get that car to the finish of this stage, aren't they? They've got 3 miles to do with whatever problem they have with that car, whether that's clutch or gearbox or something, I'm not sure. That's not good to see, but they came into this last stage 3rd place in Bronze Star. Phil Whiteley, gotta love a fat Chevette, yep. Lee Stant, is this the 2nd time they've done this stage on YouTube? Yes, it is. We ran it for stage 4 as well. We're in a slightly different location here for this last stage of the day. It's David Wilson, Carl Gordon, not registered for BTRDA points, unfortunately, in the BMW. Matthew Llewellyn is watching from the valley. Which valley? Troy Hood, what happened to Gary Pearson on stage 6? Does anyone know? We're not sure. I'm told he just dropped a whole load of time. He ended up behind Matthew Hurst and Declan Deere on the order. And after their problems earlier, they were nowhere near where you'd expect them to be either. James Huntington, guys, you should go to the Northwest stages. I'm rallying this year in my Subaru. Yep, we are going to be at the Northwest stages, I'm pleased to say, James. Rob Sayers saying thank you, Marshals. Yep, echoing what I said earlier, that they've done a great job here, and it's not an easy job. You've got to make some quick decisions, and you know, you're there to facilitate the action, but ultimately to keep everybody safe. But it's a great way to get into the sport. There's Greg McKnight and Harry Marchbank. Lovely line through the hairpin. I think they get maximum style points. Maybe Ben Jemison on for a very close second there. Andrew Side, my mum used to rally a Corolla like that in the 1990s. Oh, you'll be talking about the AE86 in the Qatar Rally Championship. Was second overall at the end of the season. Love to see some photos of that if you've got any, Andrew. Yeah, the AE86 Corolla really did wash up for a while in rallying. It was a formidable car, and then, as I say, went into club rallying and mainly road rallying, and then just became so sought after. I saw an absolutely dreadful one that was needing a complete full restoration, a complete basket case, and it went for about 12 grand recently, and it was nothing more than a rolling shell, really. We're hearing that Dylan Fowler-Bishop's problem in the Micra is a drive shaft issue from one of the Marshals, so drive shafts have been a bit of an order of today as well, and there is Andy Davison, Tom Murphy alongside, thumb out of the window in that Sunbeam VXR. Hansi Health Kick says, lovely t-shirt, who doesn't love rallying? Well, you're in the draw to win the t-shirt just by getting involved with the live coverage. We just want to involve you guys. Robert Richards liking the hat. Yeah, the hat's cool, isn't it? It's an official David Appleby engineering hat as well. And the news there is that Mark Higgins is going to be driving that Works spec car on Rally North Wales. Very excited about that. Jari Pikkanen watching from Lapland in Finland. Good to have you with us. Darren Peary likes the t-shirt as well, says it's in the old school Lombard RAC style. That's what we're going for. So yeah, Robert Richards, to answer your question, I will be there to watch that TR7 V8 in action. I can't wait. Rounding things off then in this two-wheel drive field is our 2022 Silver Star champion, Rob Wright, Mark Fisher. Local event for those guys, and they're out and in style as well in that Mark II. Will we see a full campaign from them? That remains to be seen. We hope so, of course, here in the Protyre BTRDA Rally Championship. Right, we're rounding things off there for the two-wheel drives. We'll be back with you in just a few minutes' time for the four-wheel drive field in correct seeded order. And wow, has that leaderboard mixed up. We'll be back with you in just a few minutes' time. Don't go away. Time to grab a quick drink, perhaps.